Did you know that if you're being a people pleaser, you're actually not nice? You're just being selfish. Let me explain more in this video. Being a people pleaser is such a common issue, and unfortunately, it can really drain you. It can really destroy your mental health if you don't address it in time. Every time you're pushing your boundaries because you want to say yes to someone, every time you're just going out of your way to help someone, every time you sacrifice your mental health for someone else, this is the moment when you're losing a part of yourself. And later on, you might end up with holes in your personality, in your mental health, in your energy. I used to be such a people pleaser when I was younger. I was raised to be a good girl. Somebody was asking me to do something or requesting something of me, I was always saying yes because there was no problem, of course. But the more I was saying yes, the more people were asking me to do certain things. And later on, I really couldn't keep up. I was feeling so mentally drained, and I ended up thinking that I'm introverted. I still believe that I'm introverted and I can be extroverted in front of the people that I can really vibe with. But at that time, I really thought that I'm such an extreme introvert, because when my energy and my mental health was suffering, I was just isolating myself for days, you know? I was avoiding people so much that I was sleeping during the day and getting out of my house during the night, because I knew that there's a high likelihood that I will just meet less people, you know, and then they will not ask me to do certain things during the night because they're going to be sleeping, right? So I end up being super unhelpful and just push people away instead of just telling them why I'm not comfortable with saying yes, and just saying like, no, these stuff are not okay with me. Either resolve it differently or ask someone else who is okay with it. It took me a lot of time to realize that me being introverted was connected with me constantly pleasing other people. And once I started seeing what I really want and saying no when it really didn't feel right to say yes, that was the moment when I felt empowered. When I felt like, wow, I have control over planning my time. So I can do things that I really want to. I can say no to things that I really don't want to do. Here are the most common signs of being a people pleaser and how you can address them to stop being a nice person, but be truly strong, empowered, and nice person. So the first sign is a difficulty to say no. Whenever somebody asks you about something, you end up saying yes, even though in your mind you want to say no. Like, hell no. I don't want to do it. I don't have time for this. I don't have energy for it. I wish I did something else with my time and my energy and all the other resources. But you end up saying yes to that person because you have a hard time declining the offer. So you're sacrificing your own needs and boundaries just to say yes to another person. The second sign is overcommitting. So you end up saying yes and agreeing to a lot of stuff, and then you have a hard time to even keep up with all your requests. You end up basically being extremely drained. You don't want to disappoint your friends. You want to keep your promise. So you end up handling more tasks or responsibilities or just requests more than you can handle. But you will still say yes because you can't just say no, right? The next sign is seeking validation. So you have a hard time to say no, or you have hard time to express yourself that this is something that you don't want to do because you seek validation. You want to be likable, you want to be included, and you're afraid that if you say no, somebody will receive it in a wrong way. They might end up being mad at you or sad or just disappointed, and you really don't want that kind of feeling. Like, you want people to like you. You want to be included in every single thing, and you're afraid that if you say no from that moment, nobody will invite you to things, nobody will ask you for help, when that's really not a thing. But this is your internal fear that if you say no, everything will collapse. All your hard effort or your hard effort in creating the friendship or relationship will collapse, which comes to a next sign, which is feeling guilt or anxiety whenever you have to say no, even though you would like to say yes because you're a people pleaser, you have to say no sometimes because of other responsibilities, and you have such a fear of letting down people. You feel guilty that you cannot meet their expectations, and you have a hard time to tell them this is not possible, even though you would like to move mountains for them. You would like to bend your back, do anything in your power to make them happy, which is also another sign that you put other people's needs over your own. The next sign is that you're neglecting your own needs. You forgot about yourself, you forgot that you have time, you forgot that you would like to do something with your own life, because you end up saying yes to all those things that people ask you to do, and then you don't have any other resources. You don't have energy, you don't have time, you don't have money, you don't have anything to do something for yourself in that moment, which later on can lead to isolation. So you gave up so much for other people. You gave them whatever you had, you said yes to everyone, you helped them, that's great. Then you end up feeling so drained, so out of your all the kindness, and you feel so used that you end up just isolating yourself, because you need to regain the energy. And that can be seen in a lot of forms. Either you're just isolating yourself on your own, or you just being absent in your own mind. So the problem with people pleasing is that you want to be nice, you want to be helpful, you've been raised to be a good person, right? So you just want to help and spread whatever you have, whatever resources you have, you want to spread it to other people and just help them. But the problem is that if you are being overused, later on you don't have anything to give. That's why you need to first take care of yourself. Like when you're in the plane, what do they tell you? To put a mask on yourself first and then on your child. Like, you're not going to help your child if you're going to be dead by then, right? The same in this case. You cannot keep up helping people if you don't take care of yourself. You're not going to be able to help other people, especially in the long term. So people pleasing is actually quite selfish behavior. You're looking for validation from other people, and later on, once you give everything away, you're not really a good help to others, because you don't have your own energy and other resources to keep helping them. If you were prioritizing yourself first, you would be powerful enough to help not only yourself, but the majority of people you want to help. If you take care of yourself first, there is a high likelihood that you will not let them down in this way, because you will be in a full capacity to keep helping them whenever you need to. When you're constantly people pleasing, it takes away one part of yourself at the time. So let's say you say yes to something, even though in your mind you wanted to say hell no. And then you end up saying yes, you end up doing this, and it takes away a part of who you are. After a number of requests, you don't know who you are anymore, because you have those holes. You said yes to things that you really didn't want to do, and you keep pushing your own boundaries, and you don't know anymore what are your values, what are your beliefs, what are your opinions, because you never stood by them. You were stretching them out. It's like when you have a line and you keep stretching it. After some time, it's going to be so thin that it will break. And when it breaks, it can be seen in a number of things, like for example, isolating yourself or just losing yourself. After some time, you don't know even who you are. And if you don't know who you are, how you're going to be in a full capacity to help other people when you're so lost in your life, when you're so lost in your mind, and with your values and beliefs and boundaries, you don't know where you are and in what universe you are, or in what mental health you are. So then you end up needing time for yourself. So prevention is much better than just waiting until you're going to be extremely burnt out and believe that people are just ungrateful or they don't respect you. But they're not going to respect you if you don't respect yourself. If you're going to show them that your boundaries are stretchable, they're just flexible, like deadline. If you're going to say that deadlines are flexible, other people are going to believe that your deadline is flexible. You don't take it seriously. Why should I, right? So if you stretch your own boundaries, other people will too. They're going to see like you don't mind. You say, yes, of course, I don't mind. What they're going to say, that you're lying? No, they're going to believe you that, okay, they don't mind. Let me ask for another thing. But if you're going to say no to them, it's just a clear communication. This is not okay with me, And this is it, okay with me. It doesn't mean that, like, oh my God, you're such a bad friend. You said no to me. No is just another side of a yes. It doesn't mean that it's bad. Does saying yes feels bad? If you say yes, it's just a yes. It's just a word. It's just an agreement that, yeah, I'm okay with doing something. When you're saying no, it's just disagreeing to do something simple. It doesn't have to have an association that this is the end, that I let down someone or I didn't meet their expectation. Of course, some people might take no in a bad way, in a sense that they really need help, but however you're going to communicate it, that's the key as well. If you're going to say just hell no, not happening, bye, can be taken in a bad way. It's a mean way to just refuse. But if you're going to say your side of the story, why you're not agreeing to do certain thing, state your problem, say why you're not comfortable with saying yes, and let them understand from where you're coming from. It's not from the bad place that you just want to be unhelpful, you don't like them. It's just coming from the place that you want to stick to your boundaries, to your values, and to your thoughts. You want to protect yourself as much as they want to protect themselves. The more you say yes to other people when you don't really want to, the more no you tell to yourself. And that's not fair, because you are living your life and you are stuck with yourself until the rest of your life. So it's just not fair that you're saying no all the time to yourself, and then this is how you're treating yourself. We are the harshest critics of ourselves because we spend so much time with ourselves that we are probably sick of ourselves, right? So the best solution is to listen to your intuition or to your inner self. Whenever somebody asks you of something, think about it. Do you want to say no or do you want to say yes? If you think that you want to say no, ask yourself again, why? What's the reason? And then express it to another person. If they're not going to understand and say like, oh, you're just being a bad friend, what the hell? They don't respect that you are not okay with doing certain things because you are your own human being, and it doesn't mean that just because we like each other, you have to be all the time saying yes. It's like, you're a human being. You're not a dog who's saying like, yes, of course, I'll do everything. No, you're more like a cat. You come when you want to, you do what you want. And if people don't respect that you're saying no to certain things, even though you explain yourself why and why you're not comfortable with saying yes and how you feel about it, that means that they don't respect who you are. If they don't respect your values, your thoughts, those people are not really beneficial for you anyway in a long term. If they expected you to say yes and then you end up saying no, that means that they don't have control over you anymore. And that can be scary for them because it's like, oh, hey, I cannot manipulate them. Every time I'm going to ask about something, they don't say yes. Like, I don't know what's going on. I thought that they're like my mini slaves, and now they say no and they're a little bit rebel. What's going on? That will literally throw them off. But in that moment, you will realize who is your friend and who isn't, who you should be hanging out more and who you shouldn't. Surround yourself around people that respect who you are, what your values are, and what your boundaries are. Boundaries are extremely healthy to protect yourself and others. And if you protect your own boundaries, you know that in the long term, you can take care of others as well. So you want to be in the strongest position you can be to later on give the strongest version of yourself to others. Setting boundaries at the beginning can be a little bit scary because you might lose some people that are going to disagree, that suddenly you have boundaries and they don't understand what's happening and why they hear so many no's from you. You might push them away or they might leave. I lost a lot of friends when I started prioritizing myself. But you know how it felt? It felt amazing. I felt so much relieved because I finally could say yes to the things I wanted to do. You know, like when I was saying yes to things that I didn't want to do, it was just so miserable. My life was so miserable. I was like, whose dream am I living? Am I living my own dream or am I living someone else's dream? And it ended up being someone else's dream because I was constantly doing things that other people wanted me to do, not the things that I wanted to do. So I lost a lot of friends, but the people who remained and the people who I created more friendships with, they are incredible people. They know me for who I am. I can be extremely authentic with them, and it feels so freeing. It feels so empowering that finally I can be who I am. I can show them all my 500 personalities, all my multi-dimensional personality. No one is just one-dimensional and just nice. They have their moments and they have their episodes in life when they change their personalities or habits or the way how they live, and that's the beauty of being a person. You evolve. You constantly evolve for better and for worse. And you can't be friends with everyone all the time, even though maybe you want to. And it is sad to let go certain of people. But life will be much easier if you have supporting people around you. If people are going to be constantly dragging you down, it is extremely hard not to drown. But if you're going to have supportive people who will teach you how to swim or they will swim with you, it's going to be much more pleasant, you know? And you only live once, obviously. So the question is, how do you want to spend your life? In a miserable way or in an amazing way? In a way that you wanted? And that brings us to the end of the video. Transition can be hard, but I'm telling you, no one regrets changing their life for the better. You will not regret feeling happier in 5 years. Nobody does. If you like this video, comment down below and let me know what challenges you are going through so I can address them in the next video and help you as much as I can. And stay tuned for more videos.